Hey, this is George. The U.S. Supreme Court cases that I will be highlighting for you are Mapp versus Ohio and Batson versus Kentucky. This presentation will include the basic facts about each case and the Supreme Court's holding and outcome. Then I'll share the reasons why I chose each of these cases, why they're significant, and I'll include any new legal standards or rules from the Supreme Court's decision, and then any long-term impacts on the criminal justice system from these cases. Thank you. Found guilty of possession of obscene items after local police searched her home without a search warrant, Dalry Mapp later appealed her conviction to the Ohio Supreme Court but lost. She then appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, who threw out Mapp's conviction and declared the exclusionary rule would now apply to all states. I chose the Dalry Mapp case because it has so many absurd aspects to it, including bomb threats against future boxing promoter Don King, the Supreme Court justices at one point laughing about pornography during oral arguments, and just speaking to her significance and why this case is so lasting. Wayne LaFave, a professor and scholar of law, calls her the Rosa Parks of the Fourth Amendment. The result of Mapp versus Ohio was the incorporation of the Fourth Amendment to the states, meaning the same rules that had already applied to federal law enforcement with the exclusionary rule now also applied to the states and excluded any evidence that was obtained without a search warrant. The Mapp's decision reminded police that their actions do have consequences. And this case was just the first of many to come in the civil rights era that tried to rein in police behavior. James Batson, a black man living in Kentucky, was found guilty of robbery by an all-white jury. The prosecutor used peremptory challenges to exclude 4 black potential jurors. The Supreme Court ruled that it is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause for a prosecutor to exclude a juror from the jury solely based on race. The reason that I chose this case and why I think it is still significant is because there are still so many problems with jury selection and attaining sort of the perfect balance of representation across all swaths of a community and representing defendants' true peers. The court found it is a violation of the Equal Protection Clause for a prosecutor to exclude a juror from the jury solely based on race. Unfortunately, this law's ruling hasn't had the same impact that I think the justices at the time hoped it would, because the bar was set so high as far as the burden of proof to show that there had been sort of a malicious intent with the jury selection, that unless, like in this example, there's a graphic here on this slide showing the actual evidence that was used in Batson's case, showing the prosecutor's notes where he highlighted in yellow all of the black jurors' names, and this evidence came up later. So, you know, absent that type of information, it's really hard to prosecute or to prove this type of claim.